Hello, dear listeners. This is Akashvani Kuhima, and you're tuned into the very first episode of our brand new monthly financial literacy series, Money Talk with Moneybar. When we think about our daily lives, whether we're managing a household budget, planning for the future, or just trying to make our earnings stretch a little further, understanding money is something that affects all of us. And today, for our very first episode, we're starting with a very simple idea: why every financial journey has to begin with a conversation. To help us unpack this, we are joined by a very special guest in the studio today. Joining us for today's session is Ms. Pawe Kayina, the founder of Moneybar, a Nagaland-based financial education and media company dedicated to making money conversations simple, practical, and relatable. Pawe, a very warm welcome to the studio. It's wonderful to have you here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I am as excited as you all are, and so excited for this series, and happy that we have partnered with Akashvani for this beautiful Money Talks with Moneybar. Thank you.
So before we get into our session, I want to let our listeners know that at the end of every episode, we will leave you with one Moneybar monthly challenge, a small, practical step you can put into action before we meet again. So do stay tuned for that. Now, Pawe, before we dive into our topic today, I think our listeners would love to know a little bit about the work that you do. So could you please tell us a little about Moneybar and what inspired you to start the journey of making financial education simple and accessible?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Just to put it briefly about how I started Moneybar, that was taken from my own personal journey when I didn't know how to invest, but everyone around me in the mainland India knew how to do it. So it started with a small WhatsApp group where we talked about money in a very simple, very honest, very relatable way. So I got the inspiration that I wanted to provide something like this back home to my community, which I didn't have growing up. So I hope it helped the people. So that is how Moneybar came to being. And coming to the next part of your question about what does Moneybar do? Like you rightly said, we are a financial learning platform, a media company where we talk about money. We do have an online community and an on-the-ground community. And online community is where you get to discuss peer-to-peer discussion about anything about money. It can be downloaded from your iOS or your Android Play Store. And on the ground community, we do have workshops, seminars, short courses, and one-on-one consultations. So that is what Moneybar is all about.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And coming to our title today, why every financial journey begins with a conversation. Could you please tell us why you chose this specific topic for our very first episode?
Okay, so for the first episode, we wanted to keep something simple so that we could lay the ground for the rest of our series. And at Moneybar, me and my team, we greatly believe that to acknowledge an issue or a problem or any matter, the first step is to start a conversation. For example, talking about mental health. We all know that that's a very important issue to be discussed. So we start by talking about it. We all talk about hardships, heartbreaks. We all talk about relationships. So the same way is what money is. Financial empowerment begins with a smaller step, which is conversations. And that is how we selected this particular topic.
That really makes a lot of sense, because if we can't talk about it, how are we supposed to improve our situations, right?
Exactly.
And it's also genuinely very interesting because, like you mentioned, we talk about almost everything in life. We ask our friends about what phone to buy or where to eat, and we even consult them on which doctor to visit.
Exactly.
But somehow along the way, talking about money still feels a little uncomfortable. So why do you think that is?
For this, I feel there are multiple reasons, okay? Number one is money has always been a very private matter, right? You would agree with me on that.
Right.
So we never realized that it's something we need to talk about it. Number two, growing up, we have never thought about money is something that we need to talk about till the time we start earning, and suddenly we decide we have to sustain a livelihood. Number three is, or till some emergency happens to us. Oh my God, I don't have money, or I have to talk about money, or I have to sort something out in my life. So that's when we realize, okay, now let's talk about money. Or a lot of times, what we have also realized is people are very scared of being judged. They don't know enough, so they're scared that whatever they say might not be correct enough to even speak about it. So that's the first level of hesitation. Just to give you an instance, okay? So we have the Moneybar app, right? Where people, communities from Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, all of them use it. And we also have people from the mainland India, like Gujarat, Mumbai, Delhi. There are users from all over India. And we also see, like from our insights, that people from mainland India are more comfortable sharing about it. But for Northeasterns or the community in Northeast, they are very hesitant and very shy. So that's something we realized and studied. But I'm sure and I'm hopeful that this is going to change. And Moneybar is also here to change that.
So, you've just mentioned that the people from mainland India are more comfortable sharing about their financial status.
Yes, yes.
So, why do you think that is? What sets us apart?
That's exactly my point, okay? That's why this platform is especially for the Northeast. I don't know, maybe familiarity, right? Number one. Number two, access. Number three, lack of information. Like, we don't grow up talking about all this. Like, when I went to Delhi for my studies, everybody around me knew exactly what to do with your money. I didn't. And that's exactly why I created this platform, so that you're comfortable with sharing your opinion, because it is people like you and I using the platform. Yeah.
So, Pawe, if we agree that talking about money is important, the obvious question that follows is, what should we actually talk about? Many people want to have better money conversations, but they simply don't know where to begin. So, could you shed some input on that, please?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, in order to give our listeners, okay, a mental model of thinking or a structure about how to start your first step, I want to like subdivide this question into 4 different parts. Number 1, how should we talk about money? Number 2, who should we talk about money to? Number 3, when is the right time to start talking about money? And number 4, at what point do we not only talk but apply this to action? So let's divide that clearly. And when we say talking about money, we don't mean that you go to someone and ask, how much do you earn? Or how much do you have in your bank account? That is not what we mean. We will approach this next in all these 4 questions about what we mean by when we say to talk about money. Maybe you can take the questions one by one and I can like answer those questions.
Okay. Building on what you've just said, let's start with your first point then. How should we talk about money?
I think the best way to start is to ask great questions. Ask better questions about money. Let's imagine a scenario, okay? Like we all have bank accounts.
Correct.
And I'm sure you do have your bank account.
Right?
If may I ask, why did you choose that particular bank account?
This account was actually set up for me by my father when I was heading out for my further studies. He chose this specific account because it had a zero balance policy, which he thought would be the most practical and suitable option for my situation as a student. And even to this day, I'm still using it.
Great. Okay, great. And I have the same answer. Like I think most of us, like you answered, bank accounts were opened by our parents when we were younger at some point, okay? And you also answered that because of your reason was zero balance. And imagine we asked more questions on the same thing. So how do you choose a bank account? The first question, is the bank close or around the vicinity of your area? It's important to know that. The second question, does it have serviceable ATMs around? Another important question. The third one is, does it have good customer service? If something happens to you or to your bank account tomorrow, are they going to be available easily to address your grievances? Number 4, what is the interest rate that your particular bank is providing? So the interest rates vary from 2% to 2.75%. So you would obviously want a bank that offers you a better percentage, right?
Right.
So see, like had you known all this, then you would have had a more informed decisions to make. And hence that's why it's so important to ask the right questions.
Okay, that's really interesting. So it has to start with curiosity.
Correct. Curiosity always helps. And I just want to add another point here. Like we've talked about as basic as bank account, right? But this particular curiosity is not extended to other financial products like health insurance, like loans. Which is the best loan for you if you want to buy a car? How do you know it? Because we mostly wait for the agents to come to us and we purchase whatever they're offering. We don't have to do that. You are entitled to ask all the questions you need to ask. Number two, for loans, what percentage of your income is actually the right percentage and that is affordable by you to take a loan? Like, it always helps to know all these answers. Or which life insurance is even necessary for you? Do you even need it? Because we have our cousins, our family members selling to us a policy and we just give in. So next time, maybe start asking the right questions and it is going to make all the difference for you. It's always this small things.
Okay, that's really helpful and very insightful as well. So, Pawe, we have just spoken about being curious and asking questions. A lot of questions, in fact. That brings me to my next point. Whom should we talk to about all this?
Correct. The easiest answer to that is start at home. Start with your closest circle. Talk to your mom about it. Talk to your dad about it. Speak with your siblings. Or speak with someone, your uncle or your aunt, whose financial habits inspire you. And once you're fine and getting comfortable with that, widen the circle, widen the network. Speak with a mentor. Speak with a teacher or speak with your colleagues. And you will be surprised once you start talking about it. You will know what to do or you will know what not to do, but at least you'll end up learning about all these things. But in all these, while having conversations around money, I also want to share like 2 cautionary measures. That is, number 1, everybody is going to share different practices with you. Always do your due diligence. Never take it for its face value. Never forget to do your due diligence. Number 2, whenever you're having your first financial conversation, don't have it with someone who's trying to sell you a financial product. Because your first conversation should be to learn about money, not with someone who's trying to persuade you to buy a financial product, right? Yeah, so have with someone who's not trying to sell you a financial product. So these are 2 cautionary measures that I'd like to share.
Okay, that's quite a game changer. And I think if you're able to talk about it with someone, it's going to take a massive weight off your shoulder.
Exactly.
Okay. And looking at our listeners, many young people today might be thinking, I'll start learning about money once I get a job. So what would you like to say to them? And when do you think is the right time to start these conversations around money?
We always get this question asked a lot, okay, in our workshops and seminars and all. And I feel the best time is to start right away. Like, why do you have to wait for that first salary? Or why do you have to wait for one emergency incident in your family, to start just talking about money? Like, think of money as like a subject in life. I'll just give you an example. For example, an engineer or a doctor, okay? Like, they accumulate knowledge for a good period of time before they start practicing or before they start prescribing medicines to their patients. Same way for an engineer. They practice for a couple of years, learn the theory, learn knowledge, learn the information, and then translate it to action where they start building infrastructures and huge structures. The same way is about money, to start right away. Again, just to simplify this whole subject, like for example, students, right? They get pocket money. Or for students, especially who live away from home, they have their monthly budget. And that's a beautiful opportunity to start actually taking action and talking about it. Like conversations around what? Budgeting? Just start. Or conversations around savings and spendings, differentiations between both of them. It is that simple. And none of these require a salary, or none of this require a certain amount or a certain number of money in your bank. You can start right away.
Okay, so you have to start small, right? If you wait until you have a larger sum, it's only going to get more complicated.
I agree 100%. And another myth that is always there is it is never about how much you have. It is always about what you do with what you have. It can be 1,000, it can be 10 lakhs. How you manage 1,000 is exactly going to be how you manage 10 lakhs.
I completely agree with you on this. And Pawe, I also feel like it's one thing to read books or watch videos and even attend workshops about money. But at what point does all that learning actually need to be turned into action? What is your take on that?
Another good question, because a lot of people, okay, what we working with Moneybar has given insights is, especially our community, we have all the knowledge, example, but there's a huge barrier in starting. People are so afraid, and learning and accumulating knowledge always go hand in hand with applying, right? Or one after the other. Like I gave you the example of a doctor and engineer. You have accumulated all the knowledge that you need. So now you need to start practicing. Doctor starts prescribing, doctor starts treating the patients, engineer starts building. The same way is to do with money. You've accumulated all the knowledge. You can accumulate the knowledge from anywhere, not just Moneybar, from YouTube, from Facebook, from online. There's a dearth of knowledge. But the moment it's time for you to put your hands dirty and start, that is where the biggest hesitation comes. And we at Moneybar also want to remove this fear and remove this hesitation so that people are not holding back. It can start easily, like today. Create a budget. Track your expenses. These are actions you can do right away. Track what is coming in or what is going out. Or maybe prepare your financial plan for the year. Like by the end of 2026, I'll save 1,000 rupees. That's not undoable. It's doable, right?
Right.
Or maybe if you want to plan a vacation. So start now. I'm going to save this much, spend less for these many months, and take a vacation in December. That's also financial action. Or plan for your Christmas. Start planning. I'm going to save this much, control my savings, and for Christmas, I'm going to do this. All these are knowledge put to action.
Exactly. All the information in the world doesn't mean anything until you make use of it.
Exactly.
And on a note of taking action, as mentioned earlier, every episode of Money Talks with Moneybar ends with a simple Moneybar monthly challenge. One small action you can take before we meet again next month. So, Pawe, if you can share with the listeners what the monthly challenge is going to be.
This is going to be the best part of the entire discussion that we're having, I think, because I would urge the listeners to do a monthly Moneybar challenge after every episode. And as today's episode is all about conversations, right? I would really urge our listeners to do this activity, this challenge, that is, have one honest conversations about money with someone around you. It is that simple. So the conversations can be like, example, I'm having one with you, right? This is also money conversation. Or it can be about what did you do with your first salary? Or how much did you save from your first salary? Let's give our audience like an example. If I had to ask you that, what would you say?
I think with my first salary, I bought a pair of shoes.
Lovely.
What about you? Could you tell us about what you did with yours as well?
Yeah, I think I spent it in traveling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I think I surprised my mom and dad with that. But not that I'm very proud of it, because I could have saved a lot with that. See, even the small conversations would help someone listening, about, okay, I'm not supposed to spend everything, but save maybe 10% out of my first salary. So this is the whole purpose of this Moneybar monthly challenge.
I think that's a very practical challenge. And all of us can easily try this out starting from today. It's a great and practical way to begin. And with that, we have come to the end of the first episode of our monthly financial literacy series. A huge thank you to our guests, Ms. Pawe Karina from Moneybar, for being here with us and sharing your insights. And to you, our wonderful listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope today's chat inspires you to take up this month's Moneybar monthly challenge and start your own money conversations at home. Until next time, this is your host Sharon signing off.
Please like and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for the latest contents. Also, follow us on all our social media handles.